Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today my group will present about group project for the subject ITT640 wireless network. So my name is Muhammad Azmi bin Bakar and my group mate which is Muhammad Sharizal bin Kamaruzaman, Muhammad Arif Dina bin Ahmad Jafri, and lastly Muhammad Aidil bin Inci Muhammad Tatar. So for the next, we're going to proceed to the 4 chapter that will be present. So the report and the presentation will consist of 4 chapters, which is that may include introduction, literature review, methodology, and the conclusion. So for the introduction, will be explained as chapter 1 and chapter 2, which is literature review, and chapter 3 methodology, and the chapter 4 is conclusions. And we're going to proceed to the chapter 1, which is introduction, that will be explained by me, Muhammad Azmi bin Bakar. And nowadays, having a wireless network is a must-have for any individual or organizations. As seen by wireless technology in hospital surgery, technological innovation continues to increase. From analog signal in 1990s, the technology has rapidly progressed worldwide to the point where it currently relies on wireless technology, and it will continue to spread rapidly. So, every building that has a house business is connected to the network technology to facilitate the rapid interchange of data across buildings, and it allows employees to access real-time data without being disconnected from the network while traveling around the workspace. As a result, many organizations may now use realistic modeling tools to create their building network designs. As for the company background, the company main office is a 3-story building. The project goal is to create a network diagram for each of their floor and explain it. The network diagram is necessarily because it will allow network administrator and system administrator to understand network design features. The network diagram will also be documented, which explain the element used in the network designs. The segmentation of the wireless network from the rest of the network and the justification of the number of access points are required on each floor, as well as the explanation of the remote user and the wireless standard use. So we're gonna proceed to the problem statement. There is 3 problem statement, which is there is a limited network diagram, the wireless access point is overlapped, and lastly the wireless standard should be notified. And I will explain about the limited network diagram. Because there are no remote user, the diagram will be limited to the main office building. Each floor has its own wiring closet, which is connected to the ground floor wiring closet with fiber. For the second one, which is access point is overlap, the wireless access point in the center of the building will overlap. So we will need to choose unique wireless network channel for each of the ends. Guests should have access to an additional Wi-Fi connection point in the first floor conference room. And lastly, which is the wireless standard should be notified. The company is separated into many departments, which are the ground level that contain shipping, receiving department, manufacturing, sales department, and lastly the conference room. Meanwhile, the information technology and research and development department are located on the first level. Finally, and the administrative and financial office are located on the second floor. So for the objective and the significance, the objective which is to design a wireless network for a small company with a 3-story main office buildings. Second is to identify the IP address strategy and their associated subnets. And lastly, which is to identify and describe the wireless standard that play a role within the networks. And for the significance of this project, the finding in this diagram may be used to develop implemented several additional features for the company wireless local area network or VLAN in the future, such as the ability to remote access each of the device on each level with the implementation of remote user capabilities. In addition, the IP address and subnet connected with the wireless standard have also been determined. So for the chapter 2, I will pass to the Haris and he will explain more about the literature review on the chapter 2. I think that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, now I will present chapter 2, literature review. Okay, what is WLAN technology? WLAN is an abbreviation of the wireless local area network. A wireless WLAN is a network that enables devices to connect to and communicate wirelessly in contrast to standard wire LAN whereas the device connect via the Ethernet cables, WLAN internet interact over the Wi-Fi. Next is for the protocol IEEE 802.11. First is IEEE 802.1.x. This standard improved the security local network by establishing the authentication framework that allow user to authenticate against the central authority like LDAP or Active Directory. Next is IEEE 802.11a. In the gigabits in 5 GHz band, 802.11a apply the wireless local area network that enable maximum connect rate up of 54 Mbps throughput. Next is the IEEE 802.11b. 800.211b is a wireless local network standard that enable maximum to connect rate of the 11 Mbps in the 2.4 GHz ISM band with fallback of 5.5, 2 and 1 Mbps. In 1999, this standard was ratified. Next is IEEE 802.11g. In this 2.4 GHz band, expansion to the 802.11 standard that provide a maximum connect rate of the 54 Mbps while remaining compatible with the 802.11b standard. This standard is compatible with the complement of the 802.11b standard. Next is the IEEE 802.11i. For the optional fully compatible implementation of the 802.11i, this additional include the enhanced encryption technique as well as the integration of the IEEE 802.1x authentication protocol as well as certificate encryption mechanisms such as AES Advanced Encryption Standard, and the last one is IEEE 802.11n. Multiple transmitter and receiver antennas are used to boost data speed and range, also known as the multiple input and output or MIMO. In 2009, standard was ratified. Commercially available pre-standard gear is compatible with the BitNet Wi-Fi. Next is review on hardware for WLAN. First is wireless access point. Wireless local area network WLAN is created by the access point. Wireless network infrastructure incomplete without the access point. They are transmitting a Wi-Fi signal to a defined region are enhanced commonly seen in workplace and use building. FPS allow the numerous devices to connect to a Wi-Fi including laptops, cell and tablet. Next router, a Wi-Fi access point and a network switch are completely included consumer Wi-Fi router, which is two equipment required to set up the Wi-Fi network. If you are connect a solo Wi-Fi access to a solitary network switch, you may create a network for all devices connected to the function like a Wi-Fi router. Last is a switch. A switch is used in a wire network to connect to other device using the internet cable. This switch allow each other connected to device to talk to the other. Wireless only network do not use the switch because devices such as a wireless router and adapter are communicated with one another. And the last one is review for the software for WLAN. First is a firewall. Firewall is a security device, either hardware or software that helps save your network by the filtering traffic and preventing unwanted access to your computer's confidential data. A firewall can prevent a dangerous malware from infecting your computer by blocking the undesired traffic. Next is anti-malware. Anti-malware is a type of computer software that protects computer and information technology system from malicious software commonly known as a malware. Anti-malware software look for a malware on the computer system in order to prevent, detect, and remove it. Anti-malware also frequently include the advanced malware prevention and the sandboxing technology. And the last one is anti-spyware. Anti-spyware software is a type of a tool that detect and remove the unwanted spyware programs. Spyware is a sort of software that placed in a computer without the user permission in order to collect the personal information. This can put the user security at danger, but malware often show down the system by using the processing power, installing an extra software, and dividing the user browsing activities. Okay, next I will pass to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ade Inci Muhammad Datar, and I'm gonna present to you about the chapter 3. So chapter 3 will be cover about the VLAN design. So this chapter will be cover as from me, Muhammad Aidil binci Muhammad Datar, and my friend Muhammad Shariza. So this chapter we briefly explain VLAN design for the company network infrastructure. So the explanation will be include several aspects such as network requirement, device capacity, coverage area, floor plan, access point information, logical network diagram, and the special request and consideration. So I will be cover network requirement, device capacity, coverage area, floor plan. So the rest will be covered by Shariza, which is access point information, logical network diagram, and the special request consideration. So we'll be moving to the network requirement. As for network requirement, the company network infrastructure may focus on a few requirements such as access point with a high-speed internet connection, the placing of an access point and access point that can accommodate a lot of connectivity. So for the first one, an access point with a high-speed internet connection. So this is essential because the company may need the data or the information to be transferred quickly. So implementing a few access point on all 3 floors will get a stable connection since connectivity is estimated to be crowded and dense. The data rate transfer that all access point provide for the user is around at least 11 Mbps and depend on the connection of the AP itself. So this is because the actual data rate that access point provide is 100 Mbps. So we can see it has a generally stable and very high speed internet connection. Also the ping process that treat time of the device is at most 100 milli per second. So for the placing an access point, each floor may need specific place the access point coverage. Although each floor has its different square feet, the coverage area of the access point need to be follow each of the base square feet. Therefore, the ground floor will be placed 6 access point. The purpose is to make each department get their access point and the data transfer of the AP is not interrupted, which the other access point placed in the other department. So second, first floor for access point will be installed. This is because on the floor there is some substation department which is R&D and IT department. Those department need to have strong connectivity, so the coverage access point need to cover entire department on the floor to protect the company information and some R&D process. So lastly, the second floor, there will be 5 access point that going to be installed, and again this is to ensure that 2 department will get almost up to 90% coverage on their floor, and they are just doing some administrative and financial work that need data to be transferred quickly. So lastly, access point that can accommodate a lot of connectivity. So by using the wireless access point that accommodate much connectivity, the user did not to have to worry about the stability of their connection from the access point, and the data transfer rate is at normal although it has so much connectivity. The access point chooser will be support a lot of connectivity, so it can provide connectivity from 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz to make the connectivity merely stable. So this could make the percentage of packet loss at most 5% only. And lastly, the signal strength of the access point that has been placed is about -7 dBm, which is can consider as good connection. So this is roughly about all floor, about the number of access point and so on. So next slide will be talk about the capacity. So the frequent capacity of the device connected to the access point must be also considered. So each floor has a different department and different number of connected device. So the frequent of the number of the user in question must be listed. as table below. See, although this is all the expected number for the device. So on the ground floor we have 25 laptop, 33 smartphone and 4 tablet. So for the first floor, 9 laptop, 11 smartphone and 2 tablet. So for lastly, second floor, 27 laptop, 21 smartphone and 7 tablet. So this is the coverage area. We can see the square feet and the coverage area to ground floor, first floor and second floor. So for the ground floor, there are manufacturing department, shipping department and sales departments, sales executive, sales assistant and the conference room on the ground floor. Beside that, sales access point have been used to cover area on the ground floor. 4 access point in the hallway and one access point in sales department and one in conference room. Next is first floor. So the first floor is for the IT and R&D department. As you can see that 4 access point has been used to make sure the coverage of the access point cover all the place. As you can see, there is inside the IT department and the others in the R&D department, and 2 access point will be placed on the hallway. So next is second floor. So the financial office, HR, general manager and administrative office are on the second floor. So there is total 5 access point to be used to cover area. There is 2 in financial office and 2 in administrative office and 1 in HR. So that's all for me. Next, I will pass to Muhammad Sharizal to explain more detail about the logical diagram and so on.
Okay, now we go to the access points information. The access point used was the latest and best that the wireless access point can connect to a wired network. Okay, on ground floor, KS, first floor and second floor, we use Cisco Aeronet. The information is on ground floor. ETS ID is ground floor AP. Radio and channel is 1 and maximum client is 5. The speed is 12 megabyte per second. Standard is 802.11 ABG. Authentication and security is AES for WPA2 and 802.1 time radius. Software is Cisco Unified Wireless Network software and Cisco Mobility. Frequency support is 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. Range is 90 meter and IP address for ground floor is 192.168.10.0/24. For the gas AP, the type is the same. The SSID is gas AP. The difference is radio on channel is 6 and maximum client is same 5. The speed, standard, authentication and security and software. Frequency support and range is same and the IP address is 192.168.100.0/24. For the first floor AP, we use the same AP and SSID is first floor AP. The radio and channel is 6, maximum client is same 5. The speed is also the same. Authentication and security, software, frequency support and the range is same, and also IP address is 192.168.20.0/24. For the second floor, it was a bit different because the radio on channel is 11 and speed, standard, authentication and security, software, frequency support and range is also the same, and its IP address is 192.168.30.0/24. Now we go to the logical network diagram. From the figure above, each of the devices that have connected to the access point has its unique IP address to make the device more recognized in the network infrastructure environment. The router may provide the main IP address to the switches in their section below and each of the devices could get a different IP address and it does not overlap between them. Okay, so on the shipping department, it has 6 laptops that use 0.6 to 0.11 IP address, 6 smartphones that use 0.12 to 0.11, and tablet that use 0.18. On manufacturing department, has 10 laptops that use 0.19 to 0.28, 10 smartphones that use 0.29 to 38, 1 tablet that use 0.39. 6 department has 9 laptops that use 0.40 to 0.48 IP address, 10 smartphones that use 0.49 to 0.58. Then 1 tablet that use 0.59. Conference room have 6 smartphones that use 0.60 to 0.65 and 1 tablet that use 0.66. Toilet has 1 smartphone that use 0.67. On the first floor has IT department that use 4 laptops and its IP is 0.66 to 0.71. 4 smartphone that use 0.72 to 0.75 and 1 tablet that use 0.76. On R&D department has 5 laptops that use 0.77 to 0.81 and 6 smartphones that use 882 to 87 and 1 tablet that use 0.88. On the second floor, it has finance office that use 16 laptops from 0.90 to 0.105 and 10 smartphones that use from 0.106 to 0.115 and 5 tablets that use 0.116 to 0.120. On the administration office has 10 laptops that use 0.121 to 0.130 and 0.131 to 0.140 and lastly the tablet use 0.141. On the HR has 1 laptop that use 0.142, 1 smartphone, 0.143 and 1 tablet that use 144. Okay, now we're going to the special request and consideration. The hardware utilized in this design demonstrated that this network coverage is faster and difficult to breach. In the whole network architecture, just one router manages the entire network using the most up-to-date technology that is faster and more secure. The network architecture employs 3 switches, which are equipped with firewall. Each floor, which includes the ground, first and second floor, has all 3 switches with firewall. Okay, for recommendation, firstly, we must upgrade the wireless network security by maintaining and updating all the protected software such as antivirus and firewall may be part of their security network design upgrade. Second, increase network traffic efficiency by using the QoS quality of service policy and implemented it on the wireless network. This is QoS is a network method or technique that manage network traffic and ensure the operation of key applications with limited network capacity. Lastly, interference that occur be reduced. So we must do it by positioning of the access point is critical for reducing network. It's also vital to use map-based Wi-Fi surveying tool to demonstrate the head map of co-channel or access point. Okay, lastly, for the conclusion, the network diagram has been produced and analyzed successfully. As a result, the access point for each floor has been chosen and used in this diagram as new Cisco model. As a new brand, it offers a high speed and dependable internet connection to ensure that users are satisfied with the network infrastructure of the company. The location of access point on each floor has also been carefully considered to ensure that the coverage of access point cover the space on the floor and that signal interference is minimized. Each access point will also have its own channel to avoid overlapping inside the building, and the wireless standard for the network also be identified. Second, each access point, individual IP addresses and subnets were effectively identified. Finally, the diagram can be used to develop and implement several additional features for the company's wireless local area network. In the future, which has been proposed to meet the company's requirement for each floor by providing enough access points for employee use, and a recommendation can be made to upgrade the wireless network in terms of security, durability, and efficiency. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.